Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of servicing my CT70. Back when I was a kid, 14 years old, me and my buddies, we were riding mini bikes, but none of us had a CT70. We wanted one bad. As it turns out, in 2003 is when I bought the one we're working on now, and I was 47 years old. And back then I did a little collecting and I bought a few and I had them stashed away. So we'll talk about those at a later date. But let's get back to working on my CT70. have this recollection that this tail light, it does not work, so I have to check that out. Sure enough, it's burned out. I can see that the filament's broken. Let's check the headlight bulb while we're at it. Huh. Yep. This one's burned out also. I decided to remove the taillight bracket because there's quite a bit of rust under here. And I wanted to work on the connectors. These two are okay, but where it attaches to the harness, they're kind of messed up. This wiring harness has seen better days. I have some new connectors I'm going to graft into here. As I was cleaning this, I remembered that back in 2003, this was a rusty mess, and I used the bead blaster to just clean it all up. And it kind of took off some of the plating. And of course, this is raw steel in here, so it's rusted a little bit. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to paint the inside and maybe just buff the outside. We'll see. I decided to spray paint this taillight bracket with this Ace metallic paint. It dries quick, it looks good. I remember back when I was building this bike in 2003, there were no reproduction brackets. You had to find a good one or get it replated. So that's why it was just bead blasted and put on the bike. Nowadays you can get a reproduction for, I think it's $50 or $60. But I'm good with this. It works just fine. Time to change the oil. It's a little bit dirty. It takes 3/4 of a quart to fill it up. So let's get it drained here. Yeah, I'd say it's time to change it. Okay, I'm going to use 30 weight STP. Should be adequate. So to check the level, you put this into the opening, but you don't thread it in, and then you want the level not any higher than this mark, somewhere in there. So I don't think I'm there yet, but let's see. Yeah, see, it's right down here at the bottom, so I still need to add more. This wasn't a full quart to begin with, it was about 3/4, so I'll just pour it all in. Alright, oil is changed. I think it's time to put a splash of gas in this thing. I always like to put a little octane boost in the fuel that I run in these mini bikes. It just helps them fire over. It doesn't take much, just a splash. This is enough to do, I don't know, 22 gallons. So, okay. All right, I'm going to add a little gas, and this thing hasn't had any fuel in it for a long time, so I'm anticipating some kind of leak. Put this under here. I'll put it on reserve. And I'll just put in a little bit and see what happens. So far, so good. All right. Well, that's encouraging. Well, that's pretty good. I put the idle screw and the air bleed needle in the same location that it was, and needs a little bit adjustment, but not bad. Fired up pretty good. Of course, I had to turn the key on. That helped. Four-speed automatic, so it's 1 down, 3 up. Okay, the carb needs a little bit of adjustment, but not bad considering it hasn't been ridden in 15 years or so. All right, nice. rear brake needs a little adjustment. That's better. I was happy that the engine ran good today and I was able to putt around a little bit. I still have a few other little issues to deal with, so let's work on those. So there are two of these small bulbs in the speedometer, and if I test them, see, this one's burned out, but this one's okay. So I need to round up one of these. It's a number 51. I don't think I can get that at the local parts store. I'll probably have to order it from Northeast Vintage or someone like that. I have another little nagging problem I want to fix. I have to take this off to show you what's going on. So I put a screwdriver in here and a little WD-40 I shoot in there, which I already did. And that allows me to pull it off without any trouble. Okay, so the problem is see this extra length right here? This handlebar is a little bit too long. These are one of the first reproduction handlebars that went on the market from Northeast Vintage Cycle back in the early 2000s. And so here's the problem. You see how this is kind of sloppy right here. Well, this grip should go all the way to here, and that would capture this and help reduce the sloppiness. Right now, the length of this bar prevents this from, it only goes about this far on. So I've got to grind this down so this grip can now make it past this right here. So I got to get out the grinder. Put this thing together. I put a little grease here and here. Not much, just a little dab. Okay. I put some grease in here, a little bit. There we go. Now I have to get this little screw in there. A little tough getting it started, getting everything lined up. See how the end of the bar is now flush or slightly recessed. The action's pretty good. So now I have some soapy water going to put inside. Here, just slip this on. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it will go on. Okay. Alright, that's the first time that's ever been in the right place. Alright, I'm anxious to take this for a little spin now that I have that grip on the throttle fixed. So let's get it out for a little bit. But I was thinking back how just before I put this thing away, it was 13, 14, 15 years ago, I set the valve lash, worked on the carburetor, just got it running as good as I could, and then drained the gas and put it away. And that makes sense. I had forgot about that. Because without too much trouble, it's running good again. So anyway, let's take it for a spin around the house a few laps. Alright, I'm really happy with the way this thing is running. Got in some good laps around the house. So I'd say I'm done and it's fixed up. I do have a couple of bulbs to put in the speedometer, but that's no big deal. So I think that would be the end of this video. I thank you for watching, appreciate it. See you next time, everybody.